70 WSYR, now in 106.9 FM.
You're listening to the Glen Beck program.
You know, I'm so sick and tired of people saying, well, we don't have any choice, you know, and nobody's going to vote for the Republican in New York, so we don't really have a choice. Well, you do have a choice. Why is nothing in life binary except elections now? Sex! Your gender isn't even binary. That's scientific. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm a three-winged dragon today. Oh, okay, I accept that. But you're not going to throw your vote away on a libertarian, are you? That's crazy. In New York, there's a guy that I've been watching for a while. His name is Larry Sharpe, and he's running for governor of the state of New York. And I think he is worth a serious look if you're a voter in New York. I have 15 minutes, or maybe less now, 12 minutes now scheduled with him, but I'm hoping that he has more time because I think you're going to be fascinated by his story, and I want to start at the beginning with him. Let's go to Larry Sharpe now. Hello, Larry. How are you?
Hey, Glenn. How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. So I wanted to talk to you really from the beginning, if you have time, to tell me the story of your life. Because you've had kind of a rough childhood. Your dad was black. Your mom was white. They weren't married. It was in the 60s. That's not a popular thing. Mom's family, she was afraid wouldn't accept you. Is that how it started?
That's true.
Okay, tell me the story from there.
Sure. I was born in Manhattan, as you said, biracial parents, and my biological mom didn't think the family would accept me, so she put me up for adoption. So my biological father was not in my life, so I don't know what he was thinking, but that he wasn't in my life. So I was very lucky, and I was adopted by a biracial couple. My mother was, my adopted mom, who was my mother, was German, and met my father, who was black in the Army in Germany. They brought me to the South Bronx, and that's where I was raised, by Yankee Stadium. And you might know in the 70s and 60s when I was raised, this was not the best neighborhood. Yeah. So that's where I was raised. My father was a corrections officer at Rikers Island, the jail here in New York City. And my mother was a waitress and then worked in a bank. She then left, and we left together. We got enough money, so we actually packed up and moved up to Long Island when I was around 11 years old. My father finally made enough money. My mother, we worked hard to get that out. We got out of the bad neighborhood and got to Long Island. And when we got to Long Island, my father died. He died of cancer. And when he passed away, it was very hard for my mom because...
How old were you?
I was 12.
Okay.
So when my father died, my mother's family was in Europe and had basically abandoned her for leaving. And my father's family abandoned us also. So we were basically abandoned. At that point, it was very hard for myself and my mom, of course, as you could assume. So by the time I was 17, I was ready to get out of here. And I decided to get out. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go off and I'm going to join the Army. That's what I thought. I'm going to go join the Army like my father. I'm going to be like my dad and go join the Army. So I go off to the recruiting station. And in this case, there were all 4 recruiters in the same building. And I go to the Army recruiter, and he tells me, son, it's going to be great. We're going to make you a general in a month. And you're going to be, you know, traveling the world and meeting beautiful women. And I'm 17 thinking, my God, this is going to be great. And I walk out with all the Go Army stuff in my arms and the book covers. I'm still in high school at the time. And he says, and as I'm walking out, the Marine Corps recruiter's there. He's got his arms folded, and he says, hey, son, can I talk to you? I said, sure. Go inside. He goes, that Army guy, he promised you a lot, didn't he? I said, yeah, I'm going to be a general in like a month. Running the world. It's going to be amazing. Meeting beautiful women. I'm going to get a doctorate degree in 3 days. It's going to be awesome. And he says, yeah, we call that the solar plan. Everything under the sun. He goes, you know what I'm going to promise you? I said, what? He said, 4 hard years. Are you ready? I said, yes, and I signed up.
Wow.
And I look back at that, and then I didn't know what I was doing, obviously. I was just reacting. But when I look back at that, I know I was desperately seeking positive male role models I didn't have. And the Marine Corps gave me many of them, and that was a great thing. Now, the Marine Corps, the military is not for everybody, and not everyone should join. But for me, it really helped me tremendously. And I said all the time, without the Marine Corps, I would have been a punk because I was lost at 17, completely lost. And the Marine Corps helped me tremendously. And when I got out of the Marine Corps about 7 years later, my mom had really gone into a very bad place. She couldn't handle me leaving. She couldn't handle my father's death. And she was addicted first to legal drugs and eventually illegal drugs. Mm. And she was a victim of the drug war, and she was a convicted felon. So I pulled her out of prison, and I used my whatever savings I had to try to get her back up and running, renting her an apartment and a house, a car, that kind of thing. And she struggled. If you've had a felon in your life, then you know how hard it can be, right? They have that on their record, and then they feel less than, and then when they get a job, they're a hostage to that job because they're afraid they do the job for them. And it's just bad, bad, bad. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do something. I've been taking action my whole life and take action now, too. And we decided to start our own business. I figured if we're in charge and we're the bosses, you can't fire her. That's it. So we started our own business. We became truckers. So we had a small trucking company.
Well, what did you know about business?
Nothing. It didn't matter.
God bless America.
Oh, it didn't matter. What?
Right.
I have a choice. I allow my mother to be hostage, or I do something. What's my option? Go to business school? Is that what I was going to do?
I love
No, right?
Yes.
I have two options. I never have and never will ever measure any plan I have against perfection, because perfection doesn't work. I measure my plan against status quo, because status quo is what I have. Status quo is my mother as a hostage. I don't accept status quo. So we started a business. It did well. It did well. I actually left it and let her and my stepdad run it, and she ran it until she retired. And when she retired, she did what too many New Yorkers do, and that is leave New York State, and she went to South Carolina to retire. So she did that, and she was fine until she passed away several years ago. But after that, that's when I went off to do my own thing. I had many different jobs, and then decided, you know what? The first business was successful. Let me try another one. So I started my second business, and that's when I actually that one actually did not do well. And actually, believe it or not, that's when I first heard you back when you were on your Philly station in the morning show. Get
out of here.
Yes, that's when I first heard you doing your jokes about Afghanistan. I remember that. I was driving around and I would actually listen to you. I think you were at 10 a.m. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
10 a.m. Mm-hmm. Yes, when you do morning show. I remember listening to you back then. And then I did that, and I sold that business off. It did not do as well as I wanted to do, but I always called that my MBA. That failure was my MBA.
Yeah.
From that, I then had one more job. And then started this job now, this business now that I have, which I'm a trainer, consultant, teacher. So I have large clients like Modell's and Estee Lauder, and smaller clients like small law firms. I teach leadership. I'm an executive coach. I teach business. I've been an executive in a public company twice as a Band-Aid, and I've taught at many colleges, at Baruch, John Jay, and I've taught as a guest instructor at the graduate level of Yale and Columbia. And now,
okay, but what have you done with your life? Seriously, what have you done?
I'm a loser. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yes.
So you are a guy that, to me, seems tailor-made for the times that we live in. I mean, I think Barack Obama was also, in some ways, tailor-made for the times that we live in, and I don't think he lived up to his potential. The more division happened. We need somebody that can speak to all sides with credibility, somebody who can speak to prison reform with credibility and not an axe to grind, but common sense and experience.
Yes, I mean, this is a thing that I talk about all the time. You know, I've dealt with and seen the prison system from both sides. My father as a corrections officer, my mother as a felon. And I say the same thing as I say in business, and that is, when you want to fix something, you don't walk in and start dictating. When you do that, you get rebellion. When you do that, people say no. The issue that we have, particularly in New York State, but throughout the country, is we have two-sided thinking, right? As you said before, binary. Either every corrections officer is a thug and every single prisoner is a victim, or every prisoner is evil and should be killed and every corrections officer is perfect. And neither is true. The reality of it is, to fix this situation in prison, we have to have the corrections officers as part of the solution. And that's hard for people to understand because they think they're part of the system. Yes, but they see people every day. What I know for sure, in prison right now, we have people in jail who should probably never get out ever, who are bad people, should never get out. And there are people who made a mistake, should pay the debt to society, and should then get a second chance. And people who probably shouldn't be in jail at all. The issue is, I don't know which one is which, and I never will. But you know who does? Corrections officers, who deal with them every day. Those are the people who deal with the inmates every day. How do I know that to be true? You look at Massachusetts right now. They have the Humvee program, which is a program that has COs, corrections officers, and volunteers from outside together with a specific community. In this case, the community is veterans. But you can pick any community, the community that the COs know and that they see in prison every day. You make that happen, and all of a sudden what happens? You now have people who've had that problem come in as volunteers, no extra tax money. You also have corrections officers who know how to control people, know which people who can get in there, know those who will be scamming, and will now see those who are scamming, and will put the people who need to have the right to the second chance out there in this program. How do we know that? The recidivism rate in Massachusetts in general is about 75%. With this program, less than 5%.
Holy cow.
Yes, no specialized people coming in. Corrections officers can do it. Here's the problem in New York State specifically for corrections officers. The life expectancy is 58 years. That's it, 58 years old. Not just that, every corrections officer I've met either knows someone who's committed suicide and or knows someone who is so ready to leave, they have become completely apathetic to the system. This is a problem. All of them tell me the same thing. Larry, you know, I'm already their therapist. I'm already their marriage counselor. I'm already their legal assistant. I already helped them out with all kinds of things. I'm already trying to help them. There are so many COs who would happily shift into this world without having to change without adding the money, giving them an actual contract. They haven't had a contract in 3 years in New York State. That's how bad it is. So we could actually fix things. This is repairable if we actually use both sides and go in and ask the people who are there how to fix it. That's how you fix it in the business. That's how you fix it in life.
Larry, do you have time? Could I hold you for a while?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay. I want to take a break because I want to talk to you about the economy. I want to talk to you about business.
Sure.
And, you know, the direction of California, where they've just mandated that, you know, women now have to be on the board of directors. We're going in a completely bizarre direction. And I would love to hear how you think you could make New York a more of a sane place. Larry Sharpe, he's running for governor as the Libertarian. And I'm telling you, if you were looking for a candidate in New York, you could play the same game or you can try something different. I want you to listen to Larry Sharpe if you're in New York. All right, we'll be back with him in just a second. First, let me tell you about Car Shield. Car Shield, I have about a minute here, and I want to hold you over to the top, over past the top of the hour, if you don't mind, because I want to talk to you about the economy and business. Can we do that? Do you have time? Okay. Yep. Thank you for changing your schedule for us. Just in 45 seconds or a minute, what's your take on the Kavanaugh thing? What does it actually mean?
I don't know what that question means. What does it mean?
What does it mean? I mean, is there a bigger principle at stake here? What should we do? How about that? What should the average person do with the Kavanaugh information?
I think I'm not happy with the way it went at all, but I'm okay with an investigation. I don't think it's a bad thing. We shouldn't assume someone's bad because one person says anything. We do have to have innocent until proven guilty. That's important, and unless proven guilty, that does matter. I do work with criminal defense attorneys all the time, and that's a critical issue. We have a situation to where because someone's accusation is harsh, that means the person is guilty. We don't want that. We want people to decide, are they guilty or not? Yeah. Otherwise, I can simply use accusation as a weapon. Right. I don't like you, Glenn. You killed somebody. Right. And now, killing someone is a serious accusation. Therefore, Glenn should lose his ability to be in the media because the accusation is so harsh. No. Is it proved or not? And that's the issue. That's what I see from this. That's
the basic answer I would expect from somebody who is, for prison reform. That's the problem with that's why we need prison reform. One of the reasons is because, you know, it has been unjust at times, and we need to make sure it's the facts, and justice is blind. Larry Sharpe, running for the governor of New York. We're going to continue our conversation, talk about the economy, trade, maybe if he has any insight at all on this new NAFTA deal, which we have very few details on, and how he can benefit the state of New York when we come back.
Glen, Beck, Mercury.
News Radio 570 WSYR, now on 106.9 FM.
How do you like the new chair?
This is great. I got a new present when I came back from vacation. I'm excited.
And
X Chair did a great job creating it. They did a great job designing and a great piece of equipment.
I hear what you're saying, and you're welcome. And you're welcome. X Chair. It's a chair that is not the crappy chair that you get at Staples. I mean, we've all said, you know, we spend more time sitting in our stupid chair at work than we do usually in bed. I mean, that's really bad. Why not be comfortable? Why not have a great chair and a good-looking chair? It's great for the home, great for the office. It's called the X Chair. Don't waste another day in that crappy Staples chair. Sorry, Staples. X Chair on sale now for $100 off. Go to xchairbeck.com. That's the letter X, chairbeck.com, or call 844-4XChair. 844-4XChair, promo code.
Has your mechanic ever found something wrong with your car and, whoa, surprise, you're hit with a huge repair bill? Get extended vehicle protection from CarShield. CarShield will provide free 24/7 roadside assistance and a free rental car when yours is being fixed by your favorite mechanic or dealership. Get covered by CarShield today. 800-CAR-6100. Mention the promo code Beck or visit carshield.com. Use the promo code Beck and save 10%. Deductible may apply. It's carshield.com. I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Donald Trump launched a revolution from right here in New York.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
And the New York State Conservative Party was right there with him. If you stood with Trump against
Love, courage, truth. Glen, Beck. It's Monday, October 1st. You're listening to the Glen Beck program.
So here we are about a month from the election, and things are changing. Dynamic change is just over the horizon for our entire country. And New York is trying to select, are we going to stay the course with Governor Cuomo, or are we going to change course? Now, the Democrats are basically, they are Democratic Socialists now. The Republicans, I think, are just the status quo, is state by state. You'd have to look at each. But in New York, there is another choice. A guy who seems wildly qualified for the job. His name is Larry Sharpe. He's a teacher and guest instructor who has taught English, management, business at Yale, Columbia, John Jay College. He's a Marine Corps veteran. His professional life, his mother was having some issues, and he's like, I gotta help her find a job. I'm gonna start a trucking company. He did. It was a big success, and then he's a serial entrepreneur from there. Larry Sharpe, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Glenn. Appreciate it.
So, Larry, let's talk about what it means to be a libertarian in New York.
It's actually a great thing, believe it or not. I mean, to be forward with you, it's the only the only party that actually crosses the line. Right now we have a situation to where Republicans don't want to vote for Democrats, Democrats don't want to vote for Republicans, and we have 70% of New Yorkers who actually don't vote. This is actually learned helplessness. It's an issue where people are saying it doesn't matter. In fact, most New Yorkers, if you ask them, they're thinking about leaving the state. We have over 100,000 leaving every single year. Over 1 million have left in the past 8 years. You know, I will judge my term by a very simple number, and that is, are there still 100,000 New Yorkers leaving every year? If so, I failed. If not, I'm winning. I'm a business guy, and customers matter. And as a governor, my customer is my population. Am I drawing people into my state, or am I pushing them away? And right now, we're pushing them away. That's what's happening right now. The Democrats have basically run our state on a statewide level for about 16 years, give or take. So if they were going to fix this state, they would have already fixed it. The Republicans, they've been watching this for 16 years. So my question to any Republican is, where's their plan? Where's their movement? Doesn't exist. I've been doing this for 1 year, and in 1 year, I have both a plan and a movement. They have nothing. They have, the other guy is evil. I have actual ideas. I am the only non-establishment candidate in this race, which is why we can win. And you've seen it. Non-establishment is the answer. Left or right, it's the answer. And I'm one who can actually, you know, I can give the right what they want and the left what they want, as long as you don't enforce your will on others. And that's libertarian.
Amen. I will tell you, Larry, I think that the libertarianism it is really dicey, because sometimes there's libertarians who are, you're not libertarian enough. Well, wait, isn't that the point? You're supposed to, yeah, all the time. And there are those libertarians that I think the last candidate for president was still kind of big state on many issues. The great thing about libertarianism is it allows the individual to be as socially liberal as you want, but it also requires you to be fiscally responsible, because it's turning things back to where they belong, in the hands of the people. So tell me,
and look,
go ahead.
In New York State specifically, we don't want one city running the entire state. And this is common in many areas, right? New York State is so varied. We have mountains as good as Colorado. We have farmland as good as the Midwest. We have lakes, we have rivers, we have Niagara Falls, we have New York City, the biggest city in the entire nation. We have it all in my state. How in the world can that be run by one city? It's impossible. I want to allow counties to be counties and regions to be regions and people to be people. And it's totally fine. The issue becomes, why do I want to enforce my will upon you? I want you to be as conservative or as liberal as you want to be. People tease me and say, Larry, you're from Queens. How do you know what's right for upstate? I don't. That's the point. And guess what? You don't know what's right for me in Queens either. We're even. How about I let you be you, you let me be me, and we can all be free together.
What a concept.
It can work.
It has worked.
Yes.
That's our original idea. We just haven't done it in a long time. So Larry, tell me, your day one, you're governor of New York. What do you do?
There are several things I have to work on. And to be clear about this, when I win this thing, I can win this thing with about 30% or so of the vote, because it's a 5-way race in New York State, and we are a plurality state, not a majority state. So we don't require 51%. There's no runoff.
Holy cow.
Whoever has the most. That's how New York State works. So I could actually win this thing with 30%. So it's actually a winnable race. So assuming that I win this thing, I'm going to have 30%. 30% of the vote for a third party is a mandate. That will shock everything. To be forward with you, Glenn, this is the most important single election in the entire nation. Not as a whole. There are many other things that work more importantly as a whole, but as one single election. If I come in first, it changes the entire nation overnight.
It does.
Not just for the Libertarian Party, but for any third party.
Yeah, no, this is
the duopoly.
Yeah, this. I think if people thought Donald Trump was groundbreaking, a libertarian winning in New York would be an earthquake. I mean, it would just change the political system overnight.
Absolutely. It is that important. Even coming in second would shock people. But first would literally change the nation. It would give every third party a better chance. It would make better Democrats and better Republicans. Because right now, Republicans just have to talk about our protection of the Democrat. They don't have to worry about small business. They don't have to worry about smaller government. They don't have to worry about lower taxes. It's not important. It's just, I'll protect you from the evil left. and the left does the same thing in return. They don't have to care about civil liberties. They're supposed to be, but they don't. They're supposed to. They just go, I'm going to protect you from the evil right. But when there's a third party there, when libertarians can point the finger and say, Democrats, what happened to civil liberties? Republicans, what happened to smaller government? Now they have to change. They have to be better. It will change how everything works. So day one is I have to recover from the shock. There will be a massive culture shock within the state and within the nation. But something else, I don't have a career to protect. I don't have people to pay back. I don't have that. So I can actually just do what I want, which is amazing. I'm assuming that I will be in court my entire 4 years. That's my assumption, and I'm fine with that. But I have to focus on several things. One, a complete reboot of education. Two, a complete reboot of how we mandate every local county to pay for things that the people don't want to pay for, a thing called unfunded mandates. That's how the Albany, which is our capital in New York State, and Washington, D.C. control every local county and take the power away from local governments. Next, I have to create a culture of transparency. Because the problem with local governments now is they're enforcing the king's will. So they are not transparent. They are constantly being bullied. And I don't want the state government to be, I'm the king and I enforce my will. I want the state government to be, I will protect your rights of the individual against the local bully.
Sounds like you've read the Constitution.
What is that? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's,
sure
don't worry, it's an old, dusty, outdated document.
There we go, yes. I think we threw it away a while ago.
Yeah.
But yes, that's my point. I want to make sure that, look, if we focus on the individual more, we will have better individual families, better individual businesses, better individual people who are trying to, do their jobs, growth locally. I want the local communities to provide more value to each community. We don't do that well in New York State at all. We have things called regional economic development corporations, which Albany, which is our capital again, decides where the money is spent. And Albany decides where taxpayer money is spent within an individual county. How about instead the counties can start their budgets at zero, so they can decide what they want? How about we add new ideas of volunteerism? How about the concept? I'll give you two interesting concepts. One, instead of me focusing on lowering taxes, how about I focus instead on raising money through ways other than taxation and through lowering spending? Here's one idea that does both of those. We have bridges right now in New York State, and one of them is named the Mario Cuomo Bridge. We literally have an imperial bridge named after our royal family. That's embarrassing. How about instead that bridge is named the Staples Bridge or the Verizon Bridge or the Apple Bridge, and we can lease naming rights for the bridge. We retain the asset. Again, I'm a business guy. I'm not giving my asset up. I'm going to lease naming rights. No hybrid model that fails every time. Straight contractual. That's all. These are companies that are paying billions of dollars right now every year on marketing. They drop $20 million on a stadium name that's used on the weekends. I got a bridge you can name, and that bridge gets mentioned hundreds of times on every single day during rush hour in a 16 million person metro area, and hundreds of thousands of cars pass it every single day. You will easily drop $50 million on that, if not more.
I love that. Texas, hang on just a second. Texas, New York's not going to listen to this guy. Texas, you should listen to this guy. This is a good idea.
Yes, absolutely. But here's the best part. Now we have them do maintenance. Again, we own it, so we still inspect it. So damage is still our responsibility. Their job is just to repair it, right? They begin to repair it. What does that mean? We're not spending money on the repairs, lower spending. Not just that, contracts don't come through Albany, less corruption. Someone else is spending it, so guess what? We'll actually fix bridges. Bridges right now in New York State collapse. We don't have enough money. These guys do. We'll actually have safer bridges, less money, and guess what? We can stop with tolls. In New York City, some bridges cost $15 to cross.
I know.
If you're a truck driver, being a truck driver, you pay by the axle. You're dropping $75 to $100 to cross the bridge. Less money, less corruption, safer, better service. Boom, we raise billions of dollars. This is just one idea, and there are many of them. No one else talks about them. This is what we have to work on in New York State. We can do that.
So, Larry, it's amazing to me how we are running headlong, just willing to give up everything that we have already, the freedoms that we have, and embrace democratic socialism.
Yes.
But we won't embrace this very American idea. How do you get the common sense Democrat and Republican who has been raised in New York, so their mentality is I mean, this would sell in Texas. How do you get them in New York to see, guys, this
it's already selling. Be forward. The Republicans in New York have given up. I mean, they don't show up. The Democrats think, I'm afraid, so let's just vote Democrat. The reality is, again, 70% of New Yorkers don't vote. Those who do vote because of fear. We can't have fear be the reason why people vote. It's simply the wrong answer.
Oh, man.
But I would say that in reality, I'm trying to change this to make it so that people stop voting for the lesser of two evils and instead vote for someone. And it is working. I am actually using, if you've noticed, I'm using non-traditional media. Traditional media does not want to cover me, and polls don't want to deal with me. But non-traditional media is working, and I'm getting out there, and people are seeing me, they're responding to me, and this is what's working. The way to make this happen is through non-traditional media. And believe it or not, people are getting it. They actually like it. I hear all the time people say, Larry, I don't agree with everything you're saying, but you actually answer questions. You actually have a plan. And they love it. And that's what I say. And look, my plan may be faulty. Maybe we can't lease all the bridges. Maybe we can't raise $50 billion. Maybe we can only raise $30 billion. That's still a win.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
I'm still happy with that.
Let me ask you, can I hold you over for one more break?
Yes.
Okay, hold you over and tell me how we fix education and higher education. It's out of control. It's postmodernist. It's indoctrinating, and it's enslaving our children to debt. When we come back, Larry Sharpe, I have to tell you, if I was living in New York and I was a Republican, I cannot imagine a reason why I would not vote for him. The Democrat is going to win against the Republican. Why would you not get into this camp and shake things apart? Larry Sharpe running for governor of New York. Back in just a second. First, our sponsor is Liberty Safe. NAFTA has been renegotiated. We don't have any of the details, but I'm anxious to see this deal and see what Donald Trump has brought to NAFTA. We're back with Larry Sharpe. He's running for governor in New York. How do we change education in New York? How would you change it?
We have to rebuild it from the bottom up. I mean, it is totally, completely broken. We dropped $22,000 per kid and at best get mediocre results. And the first thing is ending standardized testing until high school. No standardized testing until high school. Standardized testing is an unfair way of grading teachers, an unfair way of rewarding schools. It makes kids who are 10, 11, and 12 who don't test well feel stupid and creates a second class of student in elementary school. That's embarrassingly bad, and it is absolutely no indication of success in life for the future. That has to go away. But when that goes away, a couple things will happen. In New York State, Common Core will go away. Good. I don't have a problem letting Common Core go away. I'm the only guy who says let teachers teach and then does not add administrators. I'm the only one who does that. My goal is to remove administrators to allow teachers to actually teach. We have school districts in New York State where there are more administrators than teachers. That's embarrassing. So once we do that, we will find all of a sudden we'll be able to get rid of a lot of administrators. An average teacher in New York State makes about $80K. The average administrator makes over six figures. You get rid of two administrators, that's either two new teachers or raises or more equipment. And to our point earlier, I don't decide what that is. The school district does. They know what they need, and they can repair how they want to repair.
How are you going to deal with the unions? I mean, the unions in New York are out of control.
With the Janus decision, it helps, obviously. But the issue here becomes, I'm not anti-union in any way, shape, or form. The union leadership hates me because they're establishment. The union workers love me because I'm the only one who would tell them I would negotiate openly, transparently with every union. Unions are literally, in the First Amendment, they are freedom of speech,
sure,
freedom of association.
Yeah.
But as long as they're not forced to join, I don't have a problem with them at all. The actual union members love me. So that's why teachers are always behind me.
But I was asking you about the unions are in such control that the state is paying for teachers that have abused children, and yet they are sitting in rubber rooms.
And that's my point. Once most of that is happening because of both Albany and D.C. control and Albany and D.C. money. From D.C., we get about $4 billion every year, and that controls a lot. When that money begins to go away, number one, that will help. But second thing is, I'm not beholden to union leadership. If they get mad at me, so what? Union leadership's not going to vote for me anyway. I don't need 70% of New Yorkers to vote for me. I need 30% of those who vote.
You just said $4 billion goes away from the federal government.
That's correct.
Where are you going to replace that with?
Absolutely. And the first thing is we're going to lose administrators, which will make things a little bit better, but that isn't enough. The second thing, I want to change K through 12. K through 12 should not exist. It should be K through 10. The last 2 years of high school for too many kids is, gym, study hall, playing video games. It's doing nothing. How do we know this? The first year of college for too many kids is 13th grade. They're not ready for college. And it takes over 6 years for the average kid to graduate college. We're failing here. So how about instead at 16, you get your high school diploma if you pass the test. Done. Now you have several options. Option one, if you think college is good for you, awesome. Go to a very good 2-year prep school to get you into the school you want. So now you're ready to get to that school. You can get there. You can take advantage of incubators, of internships, maybe graduate in 3 years, and now you're rocking and rolling. You don't like that? No worries. You're the super smart kid, the kid that tests well. Awesome. Take your SAT at 16, start your path onto your doctorate right away, get a 2-year degree right then and there. By 18, you have an associate's degree. You don't want to do that? No worries. Go to a trade school. New York State is starving for tradesmen. Starving. The average tradesman in New York State is 50. I love my 50-year-old tradesmen, but you should not be the average. The average should be more like 30. So we're training people. We don't, which is why we have a desperate requirement for tradesmen and foreign labor. We need our kids to be jumping into trades like there's no tomorrow, and we push them away so they're not important.
Larry, I am finally out of time with you. I'd love to have you back before the election because I would like to talk to you about finances and the financial sector, which I think is abused in New York and abuses New York. Larry Sharpe, he's gubernatorial candidate in New York. How do people find you? What's the web address?
Larry Sharpe for New York or LarrySharpe.com. And don't forget, it is Larry Sharpe with an E, and the E stands for electable.
Larry Sharpe with an E.com. Thanks, Larry. We'll talk again.
Glen, Beck, Mercury.
News Radio 570 WSYR. Now